Welcome to the sizzling celebration of Hot Seat's second anniversary with Wally George. Turn up the volume, settle back, and don't miss a moment of this exciting hour. You'll see all the highlights of Hot Seat's second phenomenal year on the air. And now, here he is, the man of the hour, television's award-winning voice of conservatism, Wally George.
Thank you, Mike Villani. And yeah, turn up the volume. This is going to be one exciting hour as we start our third year of Hot Seat on the Air, our second year anniversary show. Lots of action, I'll tell you. All the highlights from the last 52 weeks. And of course, here with me, no audience, just my good friend David Kennedy and I. David?
We're on our way again. I didn't think you could surpass the first year, but you did.
Well, you know, those liberal lunatics in this country said, well, Wally George, the voice of conservatism, he'll last about 13 weeks. David, we proved them wrong. We're going into our third year. I understand, Dave, that you have some letters you're going to be reading.
We've got a lot of letters and telegrams here, Wally, but first, I'd like to read this. You should be very proud of this award that you received this year.
Right.
And I'd like to read that first.
Good.
From the Hollywood Citizen News and Associated Newspapers, the annual television awards, Special Award of Excellence to Hot Seat with Wally George, KDOC TV. Mary Pisano, producer. The most outstanding television talk show in Southern California by Gary Stoll, publisher.
Hey, that's really very nice. We want to thank Gary Stoll and the Citizen Newspapers of Southern California. Hey, that's great. Now, I know you're waiting. Why wait any longer?
Let's get going.
We had a lot of action in this program for the last 52 weeks. Even Steve Sachs of the LA Dodgers got involved.
How would these people feel if they're so much for this about their wife, their daughter, or their mother in this business?
Yeah!
Not only is this business killing people physically, by this I mean they are spreading herpes, AIDS, which there is no cure for. If you get this, you're dead. You're dead. Not only are they killing themselves physically, but they're killing the minds of America by watching this show.
What do you think you're doing with that?
Like any good American, let me tell you something, Wally, right now. Let me tell you people something right now. Sitting behind here is a picture of John Wayne. Would you people stop him from smoking a cigar? God bless you, sir. Oh, you're a bunch of communists. You're a bunch of communists. Take the U.S. cigars from there. They're all communists. Get out of here. This is America. This is America.
This gentleman was asked to go and put his life on the line while our government was still trading with the Russians during the Vietnam War. The North Vietnamese were getting supplies that we were sending to Russia. We weren't serious about fighting this war.
This gentleman was, as you say, this gentleman was answering his country's call to fight, to stave off.
Your country betrayed you.
Oh, hey!
Mister, do you know what I do for a living now? Right now.
Hang on a second.
Right now, sir.
Yes.
I earn my living as a professional bodyguard. I earn my living beating jerks up like you.
Yeah.
And you're getting rid of that horse right now. Don't push it, mister. I'm proud of that flag, and I'm proud of the men I served with under it. So don't tell me veterans are stupid. You're the stupid one.
Is this man going to speak for himself, or is he too stupid to speak?
Mr. C does all his talking in the ring.
I'd just like to get the facts straight here. You guys say it's not fake. How come you guys wrestle on different mats and boxing rinks? Because you got an echo sound. Anytime you guys hit, you stomp your foot when you hit the guy in the face.
Are you an expert on acoustics?
Because I watch it. It's...
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Don't tell the audience to get out of here.
You don't have these boots.
You are probably one of the phoniest creeps I've ever had on my program.
Get in the ring with me. You get your little tail in the ring. That's what you do. Get in the ring. Get in the ring with me. That's what you do.
Tell me a few things off the top of your puny little head there.
At least my puny little head doesn't wear a toupee.
Go, hey.
You asked me to...
Listen, you stupid little wimp.
Is that your answer to all logical situations? Is that your answer to everything?
Your lawyers will be hearing from... Because this happens to be my own hair, you jackass.
I doubt it. Pull it.
Wait. Would you like to make a $10,000 wager right
I doubt
now?
that you could cover it.
I can cover it.
I don't believe you.
Do you want to make $10,000?
Show me the 10 grand.
Hey, hold on. Hey, big shot. Hey, big shot.
First of all,
do you want to make $1,000? Hold on. Wait a minute. No,
I don't want to make the bet with you.
I
don't want to make the bet with you.
Because you know you're a filthy liar.
No.
Come down to the Live Factory, which is a good, funny club. There's a lot of funny comedians come down. If you're funnier than I am, Wally, I'll spit shine your shoe.
All right, look.
Wait. But Wally, if I'm funnier than you, you have to eat a watermelon right here on your show.
You have avoided. I'm trying.
Sounds like a good deal.
Let's get to this interview now. Before we go to any challengers, let me just get this. I have accused you of having a very dirty, filthy act. You use 4-letter words. You say.
Hey, Wally is a 4-letter word, ain't it?
Wait. I say.
Hey, I'm illiterate, okay?
Hey, shoe fly.
Hey, that was supposed to be funny, okay?
I say this.
Can you imagine if you had 4 letters? Kiss my Wally.
I'll tell you, shoe fly.
Guys were nuts.
And how about Mr. C with the author? We really had. That was action. We got more coming up. David, I understand, first, though, we're going to have a couple letters to read before we return to the action of Hot Seat.
I'd like to start off with one from a very old and very valued friend of yours, I'm sure. Congratulations and thank you for your loyal support and friendship over the years, Richard M. Nixon.
Well, that's very, very nice. I'm very pleased with that, yes.
One more. Dear Wally, needless to say, I am delighted that Hot Seat is stronger than ever as you go into your 3rd year on the air. You and your show have done wonderful things for KDOC. You have drawn more and more enthusiastic viewers and advertisers to our station. On behalf of the entire staff and management, congratulations and thanks. Michael Volpe, Vice President and General Manager, KDOC TV.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you very much for that, and I want to give Mike credit right on the air. He was the guy that had the idea, David, for us to do Hot Seat over 2 years ago. Mike is the creator of this program, and I owe any success that I have or recognition to Mike. And, of course, to everybody here at KDOC TV in Anaheim, my home base. And that goes for Pat Boone, chairman of the board for Golden Orange, and Cal Brack, Bill Simon, and, of course, all the crew here. They're just great, and I love working with them all. Hey, in just a few minutes, you're going to meet some real zany, unbelievable, ludicrous characters that you saw during the last year on Hot Seat. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Welcome Welcome back. Wally George here with my good friend David Kennedy, and this, in case you just joined us, is our second-year anniversary program of Hot Seat. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to have you meet some wild characters who are here, and you know the ones we're talking about. Yeah. But first, here's a couple more very fine letters of congratulations from David Kennedy. Go ahead, David.
All right, the next one, Wally, is from, well, congratulations, Wally. Wish I could be there to join in the festivities. You're one of a kind. Best wishes, Congressman Robert K. Dornan.
Bob Dornan, a very, very good friend. I always thank you, Bob, and congratulations on your last election. Go ahead.
And here's one from the other side of the aisle.
Okay.
Dear Wally, congratulations on your second big year with Hot Seat. I know you'll keep things sizzling for many more years. Your friend, Gray Davis, California State Assemblyman.
We got a congratulations from a Democrat. Hey, that's
one
something.
of them Democrats.
Okay. Now, you know, we were talking about characters that we presented on this program, and boy, did we have some Looney Tunes, David.
We had some crazy ones, right?
For example, do you remember, by any chance, Joe Badami, the nudist?
Yeah, yeah.
I want you folks at home to take a nice look at Joe Badam. He is probably the worst person in the world to be a nudist. Joe, can you imagine anybody who would want to see him nude? Now, Joe, why are you a nudist?
The way I answer that, Wally, is if God had meant people to run around naked, they would have been born that way.
Oh, come on. Are you saying to me that the Soviet Union wants peace?
Absolutely.
Oh. The flower, Oscar.
Nice flower.
Okay, we have to get rid of the flower. It's getting into my... So can you hold the flower down, please? Can I see your flower? I understand that you have been contemplating and thinking this over for quite a long time about whether or not you're going to run for president in 1988. Have you decided to run?
And most positively, President of the United States in 1988 with my running mate, Mr. Pinto. Yeah! That's right. I'm the only one who has the integrity to run this country and to make the decisions to put the United States back on a positive course. Away. That's right.
Wait a minute.
The nation is suffering from Reagan retardation, R square. That's right. That's right.
Wait a minute.
That's right. Reagan retardation, R square, RR.
Isn't that right that you at times are known as Jackass Willie?
Nobody's ever called me that before.
Well, you told me that you were known as that.
No, I said I'd be honored if you'd call me that because it's from my name that my mother gave me.
You would be honored if I called you...
She named you Jackass?
No. Not exactly.
You would be honored if I called you Jackass Willie?
Yes.
Why would you be honored if I called you that?
Well, my mother graduated from school way back in the 20s.
Well, that's a good reason to call you a jackass.
I am the editor-in-chief of the Laugh Factory magazine.
I wouldn't brag about it if I were you.
Hey, I'm bragging about it, pal. I am bragging about it. They pay me to brag.
We only have a half a minute. Here's what I mean.
We have half a minute? Okay, I'll talk real quick.
Let's not get this sweet little dress designer upset, okay?
There's nothing about me that's sweet. Let me tell you right now, I got a mouth like an acid bath.
And you got a face to match. I have news for you.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
what I'm saying...
But I had enough sense to fix it.
Just a minute. Yeah, you sure did.
I just spent $9,000 on surgery.
Now, just a
you
minute.
ought to start in, baby.
Just a minute. Don't you ever attack me for being a bad influence on young people. Because I stand up here, and they know what I stand up for. I stand up for God and country and morality and decency.
I also want to proclamate that I, Tony Fish, am the new liberal realist, satirist, and critic that will take on morons like Wally George!
Tony Fish, the liberal realist. Now, those are some characters that we had on, David. And when I say characters, I mean characters. But one thing I want to tell you, as you know, the people we had on this program week after week, month after month, during the past 2 years, the one thing they have tried to do is to make fun of the President of the United States. And I want to say right now on this program that I have had enough of that. I will never allow anyone to take pokes at one of the greatest men who has ever served in the White House, and recently, as we all know, he has proven himself to be the most courageous, the boldest, bravest man in the White House. And there's one thing that really makes me very outraged is when these Looney Tunes come on my hot seat show and try to attack Ronald W. Reagan. I will not put up with it. Take a little break and come back, and we'll take on some of the issues we discussed during the year. Stay there. We're back. Wally George here with our second-year anniversary show for Hot Seat. Oh, a lot more action coming. But right now, David, let's get a few more letters, if you will.
Here's a couple more, Wally.
All right.
I send you my best wishes on your second anniversary on the air. Much luck in the future, Governor George Deukmejian.
Well, I'm very honored with that. And let me say something about George Deukmejian. I think, next to Ronald Reagan, the best governor this state of California has ever had. Let's not forget, when George Deukmejian took over this state from Jerry Medfly Brown, we were broke. We had a terrible deficit, and George Deukmejian has put this country back on track, and now we have a healthy surplus. I think he's terrific. And thank you, Governor, for your message. You got another one there?
Here's one you'll love from a fellow entertainer.
All right.
You are one great entertainer and talk show host. I think your third year will be better than ever. Keep it up. Your friend, Alan Thicke.
I can't understand why Alan never talked that nice to me on his own program. I mean, he used to really put me down. You might remember, and I'm grateful to Alan, he gave me my first big national exposure when I appeared with him for 17 weeks on The Thick of the Night. And Alan, even though you put me down and we fought it out, I thank you for giving me that kind of great recognition all over the country. Thanks to Alan Thicke. And now, talking about things we discussed during the last year, we discussed the issues of the day. Hot, red-hot, sizzling issues. For example, you might remember Teresa Leday when she really got into it on the death penalty.
I grant you that you could probably go through the papers and find a lot of stories, but that does not make premeditated murder right. Premeditated murder in our system is what calls for the death penalty, and murder is not going to stop murder.
Capital
You know what I'm saying?
Capital, yes, it will.
You can yell it out consistently.
I'll tell you.
Murder does not make murder right. They're no better. The person that pushes the button is no better than the person they're killing. They're not punishing them. They're punishing themselves.
Wait, hold on.
I find it very hard to believe that as far and as advanced as our country has come, that our only alternative to justice is death. I find it very hard to believe. And
I find it very hard.
If it has to be done, let them do it. But don't tell me it's right. Okay?
I find it very hard to believe that anyone like you could sit there and try to defend animals.
I'm not defending animals. I'm defending people. I want to see criminals punished, but I'm saying punish them. You have the power to do whatever you want to do to them. Hang them from the ceiling if you want to. But the human being does not have the right to take the life of another. That's pope, preacher, politician, or judge. Whoever it is that makes the decision.
Hold on, Teresa. The only punishment for a cold-blooded murderer is the death penalty. What's that pin you have on? What does it say on your pin, Greg?
Closets are for clothes. Closets
are for clothes. Hey, don't Don't you think you gays would have a lot less problems if you just stayed in the closet?
Perhaps.
Why must you make such a big deal about having gay pride parades saying, I'm gay, I'm proud of it? Now, we heterosexual, normal Americans, we don't hold parades saying, I'm heterosexual, hooray!
Oh, just a minute. You know, I've never been to a parade yet, the Rose Bowl parade or any other parade, but what? They didn't have a queen at the parade.
And you should be it. Right off the bat, can I tell you, I am sick and tired of you pukey little peace activists. What about you? You have always been a pain in my neck. You really have. Why are you still hanging around, you radical peace activists? What are you trying to do?
I'm here to tell people that a nuclear war is not survivable. A nuclear war is not winnable. I disagree with President Reagan. I disagree with you. And we need peace on Earth now, or we're going to blow ourselves to smithereens.
And I'm here to tell you, punk, that the only way we're going to have peace is with Ronald Reagan and peace through strength. What I'm trying to say, Karen, is this. Why do you have to get into a drug where your eyes get all red, where your brain gets cloudy? Why can't you just be high on life? Answer me that.
Wait. Well, I do get high off life, but sometimes smoking a bong load or something, it helps relax a person.
Why do you think there is no God? Just answer me that.
You want to go to church, you got buku dineros, you know? That's right.
You haven't answered my question. Why do you think there is no God?
I'm not so much anti-God as I am anti-religion.
But you're an atheist, and an atheist says there is no God.
I didn't used to be an atheist.
Well, why are you now?
They made me an atheist.
Who did?
Every religion is against all the other religions. If you don't believe that way, you're going to hell.
Here is a little punk who believes in Darwin's theory of evolution, that we all came from monkeys. I want to tell you one thing. He is the best argument in favor of evolution I've ever seen. Do you really mean to tell me? I mean, can you really sit there and tell me that you believe in the theory of evolution, that we all came from monkeys?
We, as evolutionists, do not believe that we came from apes. We believe that we evolved from a lower form of man.
And you are the lowest form of man I've ever seen. Nobody says you have to raise that child. There are plenty of people who would adopt that child and give it a good home.
That's true, and that may be, Wally, but are you a woman? Have you ever laid there for 8.5 hours of hard labor and given birth to a child and then not be human to give it away?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Have you ever had an abortion?
Yes, I have.
How many have you had?
I've had 4.
4!
But the real fact is that the vast majority of deaths and injuries that are caused by handguns are not caused by these raving lunatics, as you call, but are caused by everyday people, or when a husband gets mad at his wife and picks up a gun and shoots somebody. And are those the people? That's the reason why I should be abolished.
I'll tell you one thing, my friend. Americans will give up their handguns when these weak-kneed, spineless judges lock up criminals for life. You say that this is wrong and it shouldn't be done. It's the only way to be done. And I'll tell you what, you are in the minority, because the Herald Examiner just the other day here in Southern California took a survey of the readers of Southern California, and 70% of the readers said they were in favor of Chief Gates and his tank and his battering ram. How about it?
70% of the readers, huh? Well, where does the circulation come from? It certainly wasn't the people down in Watts that said 70% they go for it.
You keep talking about the people in Watts. Chief Gates is not for the people in Watts. If you don't
show me elsewhere that he's used a tank. Show me another place that he's used a tank.
if you anywhere, he'll go anywhere where he thinks there are drugs being stored.
That bridge is still for sale, Wally.
How in the world, in this moral, decent country, can you sit there and say that you're for the legalization of prostitution, huh?
It is the oldest profession in the world. Everybody has tried to put it down since day one. Nobody has ever succeeded, and you never will. You know why? Lust and sex are the #1 thing on everybody's mind, whether they admit it or not. Not only that.
Wait a minute.
Not only that,
Wait a minute, Ann. Hold on a minute. She sounds like she's talking from experience.
You mean you've never had sex? Wally, have you never had sex?
Listen, I'm not talking about that.
Oh, yes, you are. Prostitution is sex.
Never.
Are you really pure that you have never indulged?
We are not here to talk about my sex life, you pervert. It's absolutely right. I mean, come on. We don't talk about my sex life on this program. Anyway, those were some of the issues we discussed, and I feel very deeply. We have fun sometimes talking about these issues, but I feel very deeply about a lot of them. For example, the nuclear freeze. Come on, you can't tell the Russians we're going to have a nuke freeze. Nuclear disarmament is going to bring about peace. It's not going to do it. The only thing the Russians understand is peace through strength. And instead of all these people saying, hey, the Russians really want peace, we should go along with them, why don't they contact the people in the Soviet Union and say, hey, prove to the world that you want peace. Prove to them by pulling out of Afghanistan for a start. We'll be back. We got some more things. Believe it or not, we talked a lot about sex on Hot Seat last year. Be right back. Okay, we continue now. And once again, for those of you who just joined us, I want to say how much I appreciate the loyal support of you viewers who have helped Hot Seat gain in momentum as we move right along. You have been so supportive. Your mail keeps coming in. I know you're out there. God bless you for making this momentous occasion happen. Right, David? We got to be very grateful to those people out there.
Absolutely.
Let's get some more letters.
I have a real stack of these things. I hope I get through at least most of them.
All right.
Here's one you'll like. Hot Seat is a real phenomenon. Thanks for bringing back all the excitement of the old Joe Pine show. I wish you well in your 3rd successful year. James Bacon of the Hearst newspapers.
Let me tell you something about Jim Bacon. He has said some amazing things about me in his column. As a matter of fact, he said, Wally George is so conservative that he had a member of the John Birch Society on the hot seat, and he threw him off because he thought he was too far to the left. Now, that is not right. Another thing Jim Bacon said in his column, he said, I'm not saying Wally George is conservative, but he said, believe it or not, Wally is to the right of Genghis Khan. All right. Now, let's continue. It seems, David, that sex is the topic of conversation just about everywhere these days, and we even talked about it right here on Hot Seat. It is my position that all pornographic films, all pornographic magazines should be outlawed and banned.
The First Amendment of the Constitution says Congress shall make no law against freedom of speech. And if you believe in the Constitution, then we should have our choice of whether or not to buy an adult ticket to a movie or whether or not to buy a men's magazine.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's our right to decide whether we want it or not.
Wait a minute. Earl Warren, formerly of the Supreme Court, said, and I quote former Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren, the First Amendment was never intended to protect obscenity. Is that right? I understand that for the audience here, you're going to give us a demonstration of your muscle. may I say that you are indeed the first transsexual to be on the hot seat. Are you thrilled? No! Tell me exactly, because I know people are watching you in amazement, as I am. Now, what exactly is a transsexual? Can you tell us? And why are you looking so strangely at David? What is a transsexual?
Why don't you read the dictionary?
I didn't come here to... Can you tell me?
I can tell you on my own view, yeah.
Tell me briefly what a transsexual is.
Somebody that's not happy with their own sexuality by birth.
I see. And what is the difference between being a transsexual and a transvestite?
Transvestite is usually a heterosexual that gets off wearing feminine clothing.
All right.
A transsexual is somebody that wants to go through a whole surgical process.
Okay. Now, you are still a man, I take it, right?
Yes, I'm under hormone therapy.
You are a man and a woman.
Yes.
Now, would I call you male or female?
Pre-op, post-op, post-op, transsexual.
So I would say, if I were to be somewhere and I were to introduce you, I would say, this is my friend, the post-op, pre-op, trans-op, transsexual. You are the kind of crumb who likes to live off of women, and he makes me sick to look at him. How about you? Let me tell you.
If you call making a woman feel good about herself and feel pretty and feel wanted, if you call that sick, then
yes, because
then I'm sick.
When you make them pay for it, yes,
I don't make them pay for it. I give them what they want, and they give me gifts.
Oh, would you do it if they didn't give you anything? Yeah, that's what I thought. Now, when you were hired to work at a bachelor party, what exactly do you do at this bachelor party?
Okay, well, this is what I do. I come in as a cop, a motorcycle cop, and I arrest the guy for having a illegally parked car or something like that. Then I tell him to put his hands against the wall, turn around, spread him, and I frisk him.
Do you ever do any dancing at a bachelor party?
Oh, definitely. That's what I do. I strip. I take my clothes off.
Oh! You go to a bachelor party with just men, and you stand there in the middle of the room and take off all of your clothes?
Not all of my clothes, but most of them.
What's that?
Most of my clothes, not all of my clothes.
Not all
the idea is to tease, not to let them have it all. You got to tease them.
Well, how much do you leave on?
Well, I go down to a pasties, G-string, garter belt, stockings, and we do nudes also.
Hey, how old are you?
21.
Why? A young, pretty 21-year-old girl, why are you doing a lewd thing like this?
It's not lewd because I'm using what God has given me, and I'm not going to have this very long, so I might as well take advantage of it.
Well, God did not give it to you to appear in a bachelor party, did he? What do your parents think about this business that you're in?
It's successful, so they're happy. She taught me how to bake cakes.
So what do the cakes look like?
They have nice round ones. They have nice long ones. We'd like to show you one of our cakes.
What?
We have a sample cake for you.
A sample cake? Let me tell you what I think. I suppose all three of you are also working with her as mud wrestlers and all that?
Yes, well. Do you think that the ladies look sleazy looking at them? Do you want to know? Do you want to know what we wear when we wrestle? You want to, ladies?
Hold it. Yeah.
He wants to know what we wear when we wrestle.
What do you wear when you wrestle? Boy, how could they possibly do that in front of Mr. America here on the Hot Seat Show? Can you imagine such crudeness? How can girls like that do that kind of thing? Well, we're going to take a little break, come back. Boy, I hope I didn't offend anybody out there. I offended myself, David. Yeah. Take a little break, talk about politics next. Stay where you are. We continue right along here now with our very entertaining, I'm enjoying it a lot. Hope you are. Hope you're enjoying it as much as Dave and I are with our anniversary party. And once again, boy, thanks to the crew for making our set look so patriotic and very, very attractive. Hope you're having a great time out there. Remember to join us every week at this time, okay? And tell all your friends about Hot Seat. In our third year, we got bigger and better things planned for you. David Kennedy now has a couple more letters to read, if you will, Dave.
All right, another one. I want to congratulate you on your great success with Hot Seat. I'm confident you'll be on the air for many more years. Your friend, Fred Silverman.
Well, let me say something about Fred Silverman, who probably is one of the great legends of all time in the entertainment business. He has been the chief operating executive at all three networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS. And David, we're proud, I know you are,
sure,
that Fred Silverman is now involved in syndicating our program, Hot Seat, all over the nation. By January, Freddie says we're going to be in 100 cities. And as we speak, I just got this message that right now we have just cleared Boston, Milwaukee, Birmingham, and Greenville for Hot Seat. Okay. Now, you know, the most important thing about Hot Seat is politics. And we talked and talked and talked about politics over the last year, including some conversations with a real pain in the neck like this guy. Hey, let me tell you something, fatty. It's not funny. If you think Metzger is funny when he said, well, then you must agree with him when Metzger came on my show and said that there was no Holocaust.
You're damn right I do. You're damn right I do.
You believe there was no Holocaust in Nazi Germany?
The Holocaust is a Jewish lie generated... They have used it for 40 years.
He says Ronald Reagan speaks with a forked tongue like a snake. Can we stand for that? Wait a minute. You can't, Walter, you cannot say that about one of the greatest presidents this country has ever had. How can you say that?
If I had him out in my Indian country, I would have him burned at the stake.
Oh! Now, what do you like so much about Jane Fonda, Gene?
What's wrong with somebody who looks out for people's civil rights?
Oh! What about someone who speaks up in public, and this was printed in newspapers several years ago? What do you think about someone who says, and I quote, "We should all hope one day that we have a communist form of government in this country"? What do you think about that? Do you support that statement?
Yes, I do.
Oh! And Gray, the rumblings are that you may run for governor of California. Is that possible, Gray?
That's possible.
Let me tell you, and see if you agree with me. Gray, the only way you could ever win for governor of California, and I know another Democrat who did this, his name is Ronald Reagan, right here on this program. If you want to succeed and get ahead, what you've got to do, and you tell me if I'm right, he's got to right now on this program see the light, be saved, and become a born-again Republican. Make it happen for you. I can heal you. I can make you a new man. All you got to do, Gray, is say, "Hallelujah, Ronald Reagan, I'm a Republican."
Wally,
anybody could slip going over a bridge. Maybe even yourself might have.
Come on, now wait.
He was just giving the poor girl a ride home. Come on.
She live at the beach?
How do you explain the fact? How do you explain this? And here's the man who wants to be president of the United States. He and Mary Jo Kopechne go off the bridge into this lake, and she's lying at the bottom of the lake. Teddy Kennedy swims to shore and walks all the way back to his hotel. He goes into the hotel, says goodnight to the attendant at the hotel, walks up to his room, sleeps the whole night while Mary Jo is lying, dying in the lake. Why didn't he call for help? How do you answer that?
I figure he thought she could swim. Obviously she couldn't. That's how I answer that, Wally.
And now, David Kennedy, if you will, we've had some strange guests.
I know, I'm a little worried about this guy standing in back here, but anyway.
Okay, go ahead, David.
The first guy on the hot seat tonight, Wally, is Tom Paget, who is the leader of the Odinist Fellowship religion. Whatever that is.
Come on, can't you do better than that?
Hold on. Hold on, Tom. What in the world? First of all, who is that creature standing behind you?
You will.
Hold it.
You will address him as Rolo, my personal bodyguard. And the reason he
Wait a minute. Don't tell me how to address him. I'll address him as Nitwit. That's what he is. The Odinists. Can you believe that? There's something odorous, I think, about the Odinists, don't you?
He was a strange one.
Oh, they were all a little strange. Hey, I'm going to take on the rock industry next. Don't you dare go away. Stay with us. So we come to the final moments of our party, but first, before a little more action, one more letter, David.
I want to make sure to get this one in, Wally. A David in a world of Goliaths. Congratulations on your 2nd anniversary, your friend, Pat Boone.
Pat Boone, chairman of the board of this station right here. He's a very good friend, too, Pat. Hey, we got to hurry now as time moves along. This is how we took on the rock industry. It is not fun. You are playing music that is satanic. Wait a minute. Listen, never mind that. In about 5 seconds, I'm going to have that confiscated from you, okay?
Let's put it down.
Okay,
I've run out of tape.
How can you say satanic music that encourages devil worship is fun? That's dangerous.
Oh, I don't think it encourages devil worship. I think it's sort of like you. By showing...
Wait a minute, pal. One thing I have never stood for, and I will not put up with you for 10 seconds if you will say that I have ever encouraged devil worship. I stand for God and country. All right, now we have a new member of the Hags who have joined us, and his name is Matrick Ferry. What do you think about that? Now, wait a minute. You two guys are guys, right?
Sometimes. Depends.
Are you a man, or are you a male?
Yes.
You're male, and you're male.
Yeah.
Why are you two people holding hands here on stage? Is this sickness or what? I mean, are you two going together? Is that it?
Off and on. It's been an off and on going thing for about...
Boy, this is the most ridiculous group I've never... All right, we have a whole group here. Just one spokesman, please. Yes. Yes.
My name's Shane. I'm in the group The Unforgiven. We are musicians. We're former purveyors of this sort of madness. Amen. We play music now, and we can rock with the best of them. We don't have to stoop to this sort of level, huh?
Yeah!
Come up here with that sort of look, and you deal, and you preach up or speak up the devil. Hey, I'm talking.
Man.
Hey,
let him talk.
You talk to the devil?
Huh?
You speak of the devil, you preach of the devil. That's infantile, that's lowbrow. You're reaching out for the lowest common denominator and the baser instincts in humans.
That hurts.
Yeah, and it ain't even new. And worst of all, there's nothing new about it. Why don't you let the music do the talking? You have music to back you up? Huh?
No.
You're lucky you live in a country where you can say things like this.
Are you Americans? Are you men?
Now, listen, don't try to skirt the issue. You are getting on the air, and you're playing to little pre-teenagers, 11, 12, 13 years old, who think you're hot stuff, and you're talking filth and sex.
Thanks for listening, Wally.
And your sound... Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, I'm checking you out, and you are a disgrace to the young people of America. You are leading them down the road to ruin...
That's your opinion, man. That's your opinion.
How about your opinion?
Well, we still have the right to be the way we are.
Do you realize, El Duce, that your band, the Mentors, you have been called the Sleaze Kings of Rock? What do you think about that? Hey, listen. Hey, El Duce, how does it make you feel to be called the filthiest, most perverted, disgusting heavy metal band in show business?
Successful, and there's going to be more of us.
Oh. Okay, this is it now, gang, and hey, all of our crew is here, and here I want you to see the Wally Hot Seat second year anniversary cake. Thank you very, very much. Hope you all had a great time. I want to say we'll be here for at least another 43 more years. God bless you all. Thanks to everybody here at KDOC that has made this possible. Golden Orange. On behalf of David Kennedy, everybody here, thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.
The opinions expressed by Wally George and his guests do not necessarily reflect the views of this station or its sponsors.